For this Flashback Friday, we're doing a Baseball Card Exchange Authenticated box of 1981 FLEER. This has got some decent rookies in it, like Harold Baines, Danny Ainge, let's see, Mike Scioscia, Steve Howe, Jeff Reardon, Kirk Gibson. It's probably the second biggest one, besides Baines, I would guess. Who's a Hall of Famer now, of course. This is also pretty famous for all the errors. The two biggest errors are probably, there's a Mike Schmidt error card in here that goes for $5 or $6 sometimes, and then there's a Craig Nettles card where instead of a G, his name's spelled with a C on the back of it, I believe. So, we'll be taking a look at this box. 2 free packs in this box, so it's, I guess, 38 packs, 17 cards per pack. You can see authenticated from a sealed case by the Baseball Card Exchange in Indiana. So this is the only year that FLEER had gum. So, which sometimes can be a huge pain because the gum, of course, bleeds through multiple cards sometimes. It sticks to the, at the very least, it usually sticks to the card that it's on top of. So, let's see how our luck is with this box. Like I said, this has been authenticated by the Baseball Card Exchange and wrapped. It's from a sealed case. There you go. You see there's gums poking through. And this box is falling apart. $1981 FLEER wrapper, pretty basic, but cool design. I always like these, just clean designs on these early 80s packs. Whoa, it looks like we might actually luck out with the gum. Left some powder, but absolutely does not look like it's damaged the card on top at all, which could be good news. Now the question is, do I try a little bit of this gum? Let's see. It has no flavor whatsoever. No flavor in it whatsoever, so there's Ron Guidry, Don Money, Bob Watson. Some of the cards have pretty decent centering for 81 FLEER. And like I said, very early on, I'm thinking we might get lucky with the gum. We shall see. Packs are nice and clean. Perfectly intact gum from 1981. And again, just some residue on the top card. Mark Fidrich. There's Lance Parrish. Hall of Famer Carlton Fisk. That's a good card. Always nice to get the Hall of Famers. Oscar Robinson. Rick Sofield, I don't remember him. Toby Hara. Wayne Garland finishes that pack. We really lucked out with the gum on this one, guys. Reggie Smith, Spaceman Bill Lee, Hall of Fame manager Tommy Lasorda, it's Bill Buckner. It's a nice Bill Buckner card. Luis Pujols. I don't think any relation. Omar Moreno. Don't think Luis Pujols is any relation to Albert Pujols. I don't believe so. See, there's a Sparky Lyle on the back. Warren Cromartie. A nice Dale Murphy card. Centering's a little off, not bad. It's Tug McCraw. A very nice Willie McCovey. Again, off center, but nice clean pack fresh McCovey. Keith Moreland's rookie card. Enos Cabell. Sparky Lyle. And the corners on these are nice and sharp. As usual, though, the centering's off a good bit on a lot of these cards. But not too bad. Sometimes you'll find them really miscut in these years, but these overall aren't too bad. Steve Garvey, most hits in the National League. It's a nice card. 400th home run for Yaz. Off center, but nice card. Rick Sutcliffe. Is that Rick Sutcliffe's rookie? No, his rookie would be either 79 or 80, I would think. Bob Boone. Dave Cash, Ray Knight. Mr. Baseball, Reggie Jackson. Nice Ron Say card. Gary Matthews, Davey Lopes. There's a lot of errors on some of these checklists. If you look at the error lists, most of the errors only increase the value of a card, the cards in the set 5 or 10 cents, if that. Like I said, there are a couple. Mike Scioscia rookie card, Doyle Alexander. That's the first time we're seeing any residue from the actual gum other than powder, but still it doesn't look like it did any damage to the card. Lou Piniella, when he was still a player. Another uncorrected error, and this is, I believe, Fernando Valenzuela's rookie card. It just says Fernand Valenzuela. Another checklist. Grant Jackson, Leon Roberts, Bob Forsch, and Larry Parrish. Getting an unauthenticated box of these honestly was only a few dollars cheaper than getting the authenticated box that I found on eBay at a good price. It's Gorman Thomas. So I went ahead and just picked up the authenticated box, and it looks like so far there's a nice Hall of Famer. Yastrzemski, one of the best centered cards we've gotten so far for a great player. So I just went ahead and took the chance, and it looks like it's paid off. George Brett with there's a couple variants of this. This one is with the 390 batting average at the bottom. Because these cards are nice and clean, sharp edges. Whoever had these cards obviously stored them in a very dry place, because that's the first piece of gum that's actually sticking to a card. Slight damage from the gum, but not too bad. It just leaves a little spot. Mickey Hatcher. Steve Trout, Mike Norris. There you go. That actually might be the best centered '81 Eddie Murray I own. Other than I think I have a. Do I have a Jim Mint 10 of this? I might have. I might not. I might have only a PSA 9 of this. So I'll have to check that out a little closer. I might want to send that out to get graded if I don't have a 10. But as a lot of people know, Eddie Murray is my all-time favorite player. I have a rather sizable Eddie Murray card collection. It usually seems like it's only getting larger and larger every week. But when I find Eddie Murray cards at a good price, I just can't seem to not buy them. Especially now that I'm upgrading my graded card collection, Eddie Murray's. I love it when it has the residues you can just almost wipe off. It's a little paper loss from that gum right there, though. Butch Hobson, Carney Lansford, Manny Moda, Mike Flanagan, nice Mike Flanagan, Mark Belanger. It's got a. What is that? Okay, it's coming off what it was. I thought it was a gouge in the card, like a El Presidente, Dennis Martinez. So that was the last pack from upper left-hand stack. Now we're going to do the upper right-hand stack. Tommy John, most hits, most runs, Willie Wilson, Davis, Jerry Kuzman, Len Barker, Dennis Leonard, Al Bumbry. There you go. Pack Fresh, John Wathan, all-time record holder for stolen bases from a catcher. Ernie Witt, Bill Madlock, Rusty Staub, Ben Ogilvy, Bobby Mercer, I don't remember ever seeing this card. The late Major League manager and player Johnny Oates in a Yankees uniform. Don't remember ever seeing that one. He's a good manager. From everything you hear, a pretty good guy. Died way too early. Managed the Orioles for a few years. For being a bullpen coach for the team. Frank Tanana, Bert Campaneris, Brian Downing, Al Oliver, DeKalzer, Hall of Famer Goose Gossage, very off center, like 90-10 looks like. Hall of Famer Tony Perez. John Walkenfuss. Don Baylor. Dave Kingman. Bruce Bochy, player card. The Cobra, Dave Parker. And on to the next pack. King of Swing, Terry Crowley. Joe Torre, manager card. Here we go, here's a Mike Schmidt. MVP. You can see he had 48 home runs that year, which I believe was the record for third baseman until Suarez broke it this season. Dave Concepcion, Joe Negro, Dennis Worth, Danny Darwin, a fresh-faced Robin Yount, Hall of Famer. You can see 1980 was the first year he hit double-digit home runs. It was only a .274 career hitter at that time. We had the Mr. Baseball card. So here we got the other two variants from two Hall of Famers back to back. We had the MVP card for Mike Schmidt already, and now it's the 1980 Home Run King card. And here we have, we already got the Mr. Baseball Reggie Jackson card. Now we have just, it says outfield and DH. So two Hall of Famers back to back. George Hendrick, Hal McRae. This is a card I actually believe I do not have in my PC. Is this Ozzie Smith card. So that's a cool one. I mean, there's quite a few of these. I don't have in my PC, but definitely not that Ozzie Smith. I can't remember even seeing that card. I usually have a pretty good memory when it comes to cards, whether they're in my collection or actually seeing them out much. This Fergie Jenkins is Hall of Famer. Bob Baylor. Freddie Patek. Dave Steeb. Cecil Cooper. Frank White. Scott McGregor. That's Tippy Martinez. We already got Dennis Martinez. There's Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame manager. Won World Series titles with the Oakland Athletics and the St. Louis Cardinals. And the very underrated second baseman in baseball, Bobby Grich. Not a Hall of Famer. Speaking of Hall of Famers, it's Jack Morris. Speaking of people who you might argue should be Hall of Famers, Dwight Evans. Yeah. Bobby Grich wasn't a Hall of Famer, but was a great player. Steve Stone, pitcher of the year. He won the Cy Young in 1980 for the Baltimore Orioles. I think he went like 25-8 that year. Let's see. 25-7 with a 3.23 ERA. But he won 25 games. If you were to go back with analytics now, you would probably say that there were pitchers probably better than him. Should have won the Cy Young. Guys like him, let's see, who can I think of? Welch from the Oakland Athletics in the late 80s won a Cy Young. Probably were better pitchers. But Fred Lynn, Jamie Quirk, Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley, Jim Slayton. Let's see, is this the error? His name's with a G, but it would be with a C on the back if it's the error card. And it's not the error card. Craig Nettles did have a very good major league career. So that was the last pack from the upper right-hand stack. Now we're going to move on to the lower left-hand stack. John Lowenstein. If you were an Orioles fan in the 80s, early 90s, you definitely remember this goofball, and I mean that in the nicest way. Him and Mel Proctor for Home Team Sports were insane announce crew in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. Most stolen bases in the American League, Rickey Henderson. Hall of Famer Alan Trammell. Louis Tiant. Rick Dempsey, 83 World Series MVP. With the Orioles, Rich Dower, Richie Zisk. Schmidt, Rose, and Boa, triple threat for the Phillies. Oops. Dwayne Murphy. Buddy Bell. Willie Randolph, Bobby Brown, Doug DeCince's Twins checklist, Kevin Singleton, Billy Martin, so with this Flashback Friday we're doing, as you can see, 81 FLEER. I'm trying to decide what I might want to do next week. Pete Rose, George Foster, Bob Davis, Art Howe, Hall of Famer Dave Winfield, Gene Tennis, and Hall of Famer, one of the greatest catchers of all time, Johnny Bench. See, this is why you buy an authenticated box, especially from a sealed case, because I mean, you can see these cards are in outstanding shape. They about as good as you'll find. Hall of Famer Joe Morgan in an Astros uniform. Cobra Dave Parker again. So we're starting to see a few repeats here. I don't think we've pulled the Baines yet. We haven't pulled the big rookie, the Hall of Fame rookie out of this. Cliff Johnson, Mike Easler. Oh, there's a good card. A little off-center at the top there, you can see a little more white on the bottom than you see on top there. But left to right was very well centered, nice sharp corners. It's a good looking Nolan Ryan card. Just sent out the prize package for my 250 subscriber giveaway. It's Hall of Famer Bruce Sutter. And I'm going to be doing, at the very least, I'll be doing one at 500. Hall of Famer Willie Stargell. I have a PSA graded Frank Thomas 1972 Topps card that I'll be giving away at 500, along with a prize package like I have for the 100 and 250th subscribers. I don't know how long it's going to be because recently subscribers have been trickling in at a very slow rate. 3 to 5 a week, probably, on average. Sometimes I'll get 10 or 12 in a week. But it could take a while to get to 500, so. There's probably the second biggest rookie you can pull out of here. World Series hero for the Dodgers, Kirk Gibson, who had a really great career. And that's probably, that might even be the most valuable rookie you can pull out of this. I think it might even be worth more than the Harold Baines, but Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer, of course, so. That's the worst. One has stuck. See that? So you ripped off a good piece of paper there with that one. Another MVP. Third base, George Brett. White. Don Stanhouse. Kennedy. And now we're on to the last stack here. Hall of Famer Tom Seaver, Tim McCarver, John Candelaria, Larry Boa, Jay Johnstone, Pitcher of the Year Steve Carlton, Vida Blue, Joey Wood, and Ron Reed. Kent Colby. Hall of Famer Raleigh Fingers. Mike Tyson. No, not that Mike Tyson. This Mike Tyson. That was weird. Bobby Bonds. Bert Blyleven. Here's an uncorrected error. Fernando Valenzuela's rookie card, and as you can see, Fernand Valenzuela. And that one is an uncorrected error. Keith Hernandez, Ron LaFleur, and Hall of Famer Don Sutton. Bake McBride. Bob Walk rookie. Hot. Hall of Famer Andre Dawson. Hall of Famer Gary Carter. Dwyer. He's one of the more popular rookies out of this year. Danny Ainge, who of course has become much more famous as a basketball player and a GM and stuff like that in the NBA, but that was his baseball rookie card. So Game Saver Tug McGraw. Hall of Famer Paul Molitor, Rick Saroon, and Jose Morales. Phil Garner, Golden Glove, Doug DeSense's. The variant with Gold Glove winner for that year. Robert Welch, I believe that's Bob Welch, but they call him Robert Welch at that time. He went by Robert, I guess. And she's Bob. See Steve Carlton on the back here. Greg Luzinski. You can see that that's got an uncorrected error. 223 home runs and 311 RBIs. Rick Russell. There's a lot of corrected and uncorrected errors in this year's FLEER. Hall of Famer Rod Carew. Steve Renko, Disco Dan Ford, Mickey Rivers, and lefty, the Golden Arm, Steve Carlton, Hall of Famer. So we're down to the last 3 packs. Steve Busby, Mike Hargrove, Kovich. It's our first Jim Palmer. Well centered. A little more white on the top than the bottom, but pretty well centered. Sheldon Burnside. Sparky Anderson. Hall of Famer Jim Rice. And now we're down to the last 2 packs. 1981 FLEER BBCE Authenticated box from a sealed case. Cards have been great. As I've said, nice sharp corners. The gum's only damaged like 2 or 3 cards in the entire box. Not leaving any gum stains, so they were obviously stored very well, that case. So, Jimmy Stewart. Oh, and there's the Harold Baines. Really off center though, unfortunately. But still, at least we got it. Harold Baines rookie card. Went into the Hall of Fame this year. Hall of Famer Ricky Henderson right after that. And we're down to our last pack here, guys. And that's it. So as you can see, let's say the 3 biggest rookies, well, 4 biggest rookies you could even say, are Kirk Gibson, Harold Baines, Fernando Valenzuela, and Ainge. We got a really nice big stack of Hall of Famers here. And I always love, being a huge Eddie Murray fan, I always love pulling a pack fresh Eddie Murray. But we got Jim Rice, Jim Palmer, Carlton, Carew, Molitor. I mean, you can just keep going through. Ryan, Joe Morgan, Bench, Rose and Schmidt, Trammell. I mean, just on and on and on. Right from the very first one we pulled, Carlton Fisk. So, there you go, guys. 1981 FLEER for the Flashback Friday.